I mean, I hadn't watched it until a few days ago, since it aired.
So did I.
Yeah, you saw it.
What a great show. I was LOLing for real.
Yeah.
Just alone and
It
watching
holds up.
It holds up. It's funny from beginning to end. All of it's funny.
Yeah, thank you.
Even I was funny and didn't think I was.
You were very funny?
I was so nervous. And you were cracking me up. You know, especially like in part 2 where you're talking about the civil rights and going to the back of the bus and like, oh my God, do we have to go to the back of the bus too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It was everything. Well, I called you. I was driving. I remember where I was. I was pulling onto the 101 and I called you and asked if you would do this. And I was really shocked that you said yes. And my second choice,
I said yes immediately.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, yeah.
You did, which...
It wasn't even one of those, wait, let me think, let me see. Yes,
Yeah. And my second choice was Maya Angelou, and but you were my first choice. And because I thought, first of all, I love you, and you are the queen, and I thought you would legitimize all of it. You would make it, like people would go, oh, we're not trying to make a joke of this. This is actually serious.
Well, the thing is, I didn't even think about, I didn't even give it a thought. I didn't even think, oh, gee, what will this cost me? What will other people say? How will I be presented? I just said yes because I so believed in your truth and I so wanted to support you.
Did you, but I mean, we've talked since then. So when you said yes right away, even though you've done all the shows about, you know, at that time...
I was doing coming out day on the show.
Right.
But never using a dramatic format like what you had. You had a different platform in which to reach millions of people. I heard 42 million people watch.
Yeah, it was at the time I think the largest audience of.
Wow.
So, but you got so much hate mail.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, like really nasty.
So, it was so bad. The next day after the show, I flew back to Chicago, and the next day our switchboard. I mean, we had to put another person on the switchboard. I remember something like 900 and something calls. They couldn't keep up. And I said, well, what are people saying? And the switchboard, I was like, you don't want to know, ma'am. You don't want to know. And I said, no, I really want to know what they're saying. And so I started looking at the sheet. And there was a lot of, you go back to Africa's. And I was like, go back to Africa over a sitcom? I was on a sitcom. I was talking to Ellen. She spoke her truth. And a lot of the N-words, a lot of vile, vitriolic stuff. And, you know, I just, I've been thinking about it, knowing I was going to come on the show. And I was never so surprised by the hatred and how loud it was, you know, because up until that time, I'd never had that kind of thing slamming me in the face. And what I thought was, oh, gee, I misread that everybody was like us, that they were open-minded and that they were receptive and that, you know, wanted people just to be who they are. So it taught me a lot, actually. It really did.
Yeah, it was surprising how many people I upset, because my whole thing, and I've said this before, that I was a comedian, I was funny, and I just also happened to be gay, and I just got tired of hiding it, and I thought, well, nothing's going to change. I'm still funny, I'm still the same person, they're just now going to know, and plus I assumed that people did know. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a shock. And so it really
just 20 years ago, nobody was actually saying it.
Right.
So I don't even think it was a shock. It was like, you know, that woman that was the clip that you ran earlier in my show, like, well, you don't have to tell anybody. You know, 20 years ago, people kept things to themselves. Yeah. They were quiet. You hid the fact that your husband had an affair. You didn't mention it. You were pretending to be who you weren't in a way that we no longer find acceptable in our culture. Well, and you are responsible for so much of that changing. Well, you were the bravest woman ever.
I'm happy that I found that in me. Thank you.
When you think about the kind of courage it took, and I know I did a full-on interview with you, but now with time and perspective, I mean, just watching the other day for the first time, since we did it, I was thinking, well, if I got that kind of hate mail and vitriol, what must you have gotten, and what must that have done to your spirit at the time?
Yeah. Well, I had a lot of death threats, a lot. and and there was a bomb scare when we shot. But it was tough. I mean, there was always, that's why most people don't come out, is because you think you're going to lose your career. And so people just choose a career over, being truthful. And I just decided to feel that was truthful was more important than a career.
But were you ever really scared? Were you ever afraid that some crazy would actually act on it?
Yeah. And I did have some incidents where I'd be walking down the street and people would scream out of a car and scream at me, or, yeah, there were some violent things that happened. But and just been made fun of, like on late night television, like I was the butt of every joke. I was constantly made fun of. Yeah. And so it just turned around and,
You know what I think, though? This is what I think for everybody who goes through anything where you have denied the truth of yourself, and then you're brave enough, you're courage enough, you have the courage, because your whole calling is about you being who you were meant to be. And the fact that you did that, you would not be who you are, Medal of Freedom, President Obama wouldn't have said those wonderful things about you. They were all so true. You wouldn't have been able to open hearts and touch hearts and change people's minds and make a difference in the world had you not had the courage to do that. And 20 years ago, you had no idea it would put you in this seat.
No, and that's why I always encourage people, because it really did teach me, no matter what the cost is at the time, it is always important, like you said, whatever you believe, whoever the essence of us is. We are born, we are all individual, we are all unique, and we are supposed to be that exact person. We're not supposed to conform. We're not supposed to be like somebody else. We're not supposed to act like somebody else. Right. And as long as you stay true to exactly who you are, you will be rewarded in ways that you can't imagine.
That's right. Absolutely right.
All right. Like you're telling me, we have a message, a surprise message, so I don't know. There's a lot of surprises today.
Okay.
Hi, Oprah. Hi, Ellen. Gosh, I wish I could be there in person, but Barack keeps booking us on all these vacations. In fact, I think we've got a kite surfing lesson in about 5 minutes, so I'm going to make this short and sweet. But seriously, Ellen, congratulations on the 20th anniversary of announcing to the world who you really are. Time and again, you have shown us what love really means. You are brave. You are kind. You are a terrible person to go shopping with. And I absolutely adore you. Congratulations again. Love you much.
I love you too, Michelle. We'll be right back.
I'm so moved to get to be here with all of you and share this extraordinary
I'm so happy that you're here. And like Oprah said yes right away. I saw you at my birthday party, and I asked you to play that part, and you right away said yes.
Yes.
As well. And what do you remember about that when you think back?
I remember, just listening just now to the two of you, I remember the same bliss of getting to be part of supporting you in this moment, and what a privilege and an honor it felt like. And I didn't think twice. And it's so amazing that the three of us never talked after about all the things we went through and shared, because it was only after I'd said yes and we were starting it that I started getting calls, which were so shocking to me, of friends and colleagues, even gay friends and colleagues, saying, "Are you sure you want to do that? That seems scary. Are you worried?" And I didn't have a worry at all.
You were like, worried about what?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And
so.
Yeah, and then you were punished as well. You didn't work for a year just because you were on that show.
Yeah.
And you're not even gay, but people thought you were gay.
Yes.
I mean, even I hurt straight people through this. I'm hurting everyone. Like, so yeah, it was unbelievable that when I talked to you after that you were punished as well and not able to work. But the thing about that you were so comforting in that scene, because saying I'm gay. Gay people, just for you straight people out there, gay people don't just go around saying I'm gay because you don't need to. For the people that know you're gay, they just, so no one says it. So for those words to come out of my mouth for the very first time, to say I'm gay, even rehearsing it, I would burst into tears every single time.
I have to say, just watching the clip, it made me so emotional because of all the things I feel privileged to experience in my life, as a human, but also as an actor, there's no greater gift than being the person that was with you and looking in your eyes as you said those words. And when we did rehearse, you even whispered to me at once, maybe I'm not going to say it because I haven't said that out loud. And watching you have this catharsis or ritual and the audience support and us sort of literally holding each other. I remember kind of holding each other up through this very emotional moment. It was so profound, and I feel so blessed that I got to be there and witness that.
Well, thank you for being there for me, because it really was a charged moment. It was really amazing. And people, so I mentioned that people assumed you're gay. I don't think they do anymore. You got married. Not that means anything. A lot of people get married just to pretend. But you were married and have kids. And of course, you and Gail are still in a relationship, right?
I think me being on that show didn't help that situation at all. I mean, thanks a lot. Thanks.
Just stoking the fire.